What's up, folks? I'm Brandon. That's Livy.
Hi.
Welcome to Disco Yeti Unplugged tonight. What we have tonight is a special episode. Livy, have you ever gotten a fever?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten sick?
Yes.
Have you ever felt a urge to do something crazy? Just sometimes? Oh, come on now. Well, this episode discusses the fever that's sweeping the nation and around the world. It's called Disney Pin Fever, and we got Livy on the episode tonight to discuss it because she's a pin expert. So we're gonna go in 3, 2, and 1.
Lace up your shoes, we're hitting the gate. Got a fast pass ready and we just can't wait. From the mountains to the jungle, coast to coast, we're talking about the parks we love the most. Disco Yeti Unplugged and live. Got theme park stories with lots of laughs. From the rides to the snacks to the hidden details. Pull up a seat and let us tell the tales. No scripts, no spoilers, well maybe a few. Just two park fans talking straight to you. So grab your Dole Whip, find your favorite chair. The Disco Yeti's in the building. Are you there?
All right, folks. Have you ever imagine yourself, you're walking up to EPCOT and some guy runs up to you, some guy you don't know runs up to you and says, he's got a lanyard and it's got pins all over it. And he says, you want to trade? And you're like, say what? And then a little smile cracks on your face like this. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll trade with you. Because he's got some good pins to trade. We're talking about Disney pin trading tonight, and I brought Livy on the episode. Chris was a little hung up tonight, so Livy is standing in Chris's place because Chris, he may know a little bit about pin trading, but Livy, being a young lady, she knows more about pin trading than most adults. So with that said, we're going to get this episode kicked off, and I'm going to start talking about what Disney pin trading is. So this craze started back in the early 80s when Disney started making pins, maybe even back in the 70s, when Disney started making pins for different events and things like that, and people started collecting them, okay? And people started putting them, in their little collections, on their walls and things like that. And what has happened? In the last 25, 30 years, Disney pin trading has really taken off. And Disney officially adopted it in the year 2000. In the year 2000, they had a pin trading series called the Millennium Edition. And with that, everything just exploded because people were trying to trade pins with each other to get the whole entire collection. And that's where this craze really took off. And so Livy, on the other hand, she started pin trading on probably her second or third Disney trip. We bought some pins, and then we figured out that there's some pin boards all over the parks, and that's where she got started. So Livy, tell us about how you got started pin trading, what you started doing to pin trade.
So I mostly just followed what he was doing because he was the expert at the time, and I had my little board and I just follow him. And when he traded something, I just trade random stuff. And then over the years, I just got more and more into it, knowing what was better and what was worse, and what was fake and what was real.
Okay, so when we start talking about pins on the boards, there's boards all over the parks.
Yes.
And they're Mickey shaped, and a lot of these boards have various pins on them, and some of them have a little, some have a lot. Some of the pin boards are big, some of the pin boards are small. Some of the pin boards have different shapes to them. There's one that's a leaf. There's one that is in the shape of a trash can. There's a pin cone out by where the tram is. Yeah. And so their pin boards come in various shapes and sizes. And kind of what The rule it's got some loose rules, okay? And so rule number one of pin trading is the pin actually tradable?
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to depend on if it has a Disney logo on the back with a little copyright mark on the back that says, Disney on there. And the pin can't be plastic, it can't be rubber,
Yeah.
it can't be something from, the uh Orlando, you know, souvenir shop. It should come from Disney, okay? And I'm going to stress that importance later on as we discuss this. But what what happens is there are real authentic Disney pins. Disney pins kind of look like this. Here's one that's a Guardians of the Galaxy pin. This one's really cool. We got this one. Here's another Guardians of the Galaxy pin. We got they come in all shapes and sizes with different seasons and things
Yeah.
like that. These are real authentic Disney pins. And there's a secondary market out there, and those kind of pins. What Livy was saying, they're fake. They're called scrappers, and the
Yes.
scrapper pins are highly counterfeited pins that were either rejected at the factory or they were mass produced
Yeah.
by someone overseas to get a share of the market. Let's put it that way. So to know if a Disney pin is real or fake, it has some signs, okay? And we don't want you to be fooled by the fake imitation. I'm not going to show you a fake pin, but I am going to show you what the back of a real pin looks like. And so we're going to take a pin off here. And here's the back of a real pin. You see that? It's got the FAC number. It's got the Mickey pattern. It goes upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up, straight across. And it has a little diamond.
Older pins don't have diamonds.
Older pins don't have
Yeah.
diamonds. They just started doing diamonds on these pins. You can see the little diamond shape right here. Yep, right there. Anyway, that's what the back of a Disney pin looks like. It's pretty cool, huh? Yep. They have a pattern because they're trying to, um, keep fake pins from being distributed throughout the parks. But guess what, folks? It still happens. So, anyway, we go to the pin board. We walk up to the pin board, and there is the pin that we want. We got a pin in our book that we bought. Say, and Disney sells these pins all over the parks, at the little booths, at the little at the souvenir shops, things like that within the parks. They sell packets of pins. They sell single pins like these. They sell big jumbo pins like this. Stitch limited edition pins. They do have limited edition pins as well, but they sell them in all shapes and sizes. And if you have a authentic Disney pin, you can trade that on the board, and you trade it. We call it a real Disney pin for a real Disney pin, authentic Disney pin for an authentic Disney pin. You trade with the person that's holding the board. It's usually a cast member, and and you take whatever pin is off the board. It's usually a 1-for-1 trade. Okay. On the Disney boards, it's 1-for-1. When you're trading with individuals, you can get into a situation where that doesn't always happen, and where people want to trade 2 or 3 pins, for the one. That's going to be up to your discretion whether that's something that you want to do or not. But anyway, it's generally the rule is 1 pin for 1 pin on the board. You're not supposed to gang up and offer cheap pins for someone's really good pin. and that's considered, like a bad transaction. Okay. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to trade authentic Disney pins for authentic Disney pins. Um, the cast member will sometimes be wearing a lanyard, and they'll have pins on it too, and you can trade off of those too willingly with the cast member. And sometimes some cast members will say, "Hey, you have to have one that has a diamond on it to trade," and they call it that a diamond for diamond trade.
Yes.
Anyway, that's kind of the whole thing. There's no other real rules with it, and it's a hobby for a lot of people. A lot of people, or a lot of people create like books and things of these pins.
Yeah.
They collect different series of pins and things like that, and that is allows people to make it a highly collectible item. And some of these pens are worth, a great amount of money. A pen like this stitch pen that I was showing you, could cost $30 or $40, but down the road it could be worth 80, 100, 200,
Yeah.
$300, and it just depends on the subject matter of the pen, what the pen is, things like that. And so there's this whole world of pen trading. And Livy, like, tell us about what like what you do, or what pens that you look for or you collect within your collection.
Okay, so for my collection, I am a big fan of Stitch. Like I would marry him if I could. So I have a pin board, and it's just full of like over 100 Stitch pins, and it slides onto my other pin board. And then I'm also been collecting like Wally pins, and also like the Wave B, Wave A pins. I love those.
Okay. And so, uh, you know, everybody has their thing. Like, I collect just a wide variety of pins, all different types of pins. I like Star Wars pins. I like pass holder pins. Pass holder pins are for people who are annual pass holders. I like Phineas and Ferb pins. I like a lot of party pins from like the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, or the Mickey and Minnie's Christmas Party, or flower and garden
Yeah.
festivals, things like that. That those are the types of pins I like to create. The one or to collect. Those are mainly limited edition pins that have some kind of value to them. And I do pick up general pins like I was showing you. These are kind of general pins that people collect. And this one's a Small World pin. I did, we were there right around the 4th of July this year for the 250th anniversary of our country. And they came out with a special, America 250 pin.
Yeah.
And so all these pins are really highly sought after. People on eBay, Macari, places like that sell and exchange these pins online in that manner too. There are pin trading Facebook groups. There are pin, meetups and things like that. There are pin events. Me and Libby got to go to a pin event. Can you explain to the audience what a pin event is?
So it's rather where a lot of people have pins, and they're just trading in like a giant thing, and there's pins for sale for like cheaper, or it's like where they have a discount and you can get them like way cheaper than.
Right. So we
Yeah.
went to the Go Pin Pro um, pin bingo trading event, and it was called Pingo, is what they were calling it. And there were several hundred people there, and they were all trading pins and things like that in the store. And some stores like Go Pin Pro and at the Pin HQ, they you know that's their business is to trade pins, to create books for pins. I've got one of their books right here. It's called a Pinfolio, and you can see that. And what it is, it's really cool. I don't have any pins in this one, but it's just a pin trading book, and a book to keep your pins in. And you can carry this around in Disney parks. Disney lets you carry those around in the parks and trade with people. If people see that you have a pin lanyard or a pin folio, they want to come up and they want to trade with you many times. Not everybody wants to trade, and you don't have to trade. That's the whole thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you see a pin that you like, but maybe they don't see a pin that they like, and you can't make that trade. You just say thanks, thanks for looking or whatever, and try to make the trade. But if you can't, not a big deal. You just move on about your day. Some people get mad about that, which is kind of crazy. But I don't. I just don't trade. Or trade with them. And so it's up to your discretion who you want to trade with. Okay. Um. So, Livy, tell us what you would do if you were going to start pin trading. Okay, like what's the first step to get into pin trading? Like what's the very first thing that you do if you were at a Disney park and you saw these people pin trading? What would be the first thing that you would do?
Number one, buy pins to actually trade.
Okay, so buy tradable pins. And are you buying so if you had no pins to trade and you were wanting to buy tradable pins, would you buy single pins or would you buy a pin pack of 5 or 2 or 10 pins?
So it kind of depends. So if there's like a pin pack and you like some of them and you're trying to collect some of them, you could keep the ones that you like. But then if there's like single ones that are really good traders, you could also get those. And I feel like the big packs are more expensive than the single ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So she's saying that there's a pin. Like here's a for instance. So there's one that's Disney ducks. There's one that's Disney trash cans.
Stitch.
There's Stitch Attack Snacks packs, and those generally have like five pins in them. Those cost about 30-40 bucks, and depending on if you get a discount or something. And so that instantly you have 5 pins to trade. Okay. Well, maybe you want to keep one of them. That's
Yeah.
fine. Whatever. So what would you do? What would you recommend? How are you going to carry the pins around the park? Or are you going to, dive head in first? And are you going to buy like something like the Pinfolio?
So at the time, if you like first start and you can't, and at the moment you can't get a pinfolio, I would just like keep backs on the pins and just trade. But then when you get a pinfolio, it's way easier to trade, or like a pin carrying thing.
A pin carrying case.
Yeah.
And they sell those in the Disney parks. They don't sell the Pinfolios, but
Yeah.
Disney has their own version of the pin trading books and things like that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so another good way to start is to buy a pin lanyard.
Yes.
And a pin lanyard, generally you can buy a blank lanyard and put your pin pack pins on there, or you can buy a starter pin lanyard that has 4, 5, 6 pins already on there. And those cost about 30 or 40 bucks as well. So really to get started in the habit, I encourage you to get 5, 10, 15 pins and get going. Okay. And, like I said, we're trading real authentic Disney pins. And as you catch the fever, like I was talking about, it gets crazy. And I tell people they get into Pentopia, because they've caught a
So
fever.
true.
It's like a sickness,
Yeah.
and they're wanting to trade with uh, you know different people and stuff like that, and it's just addicting, and it's a fun thing to do while you're walking around in the parks in between the rides and things like that. Um, you know, how old do you have to be, Livy, to start trading?
I don't think I don't think you need an age. Uh,
There is no age. That's
yeah,
correct.
you could like even at 1 years old. Let's say that your parents buy you pins. You could just be like,
Your parents could help
yeah,
you trade, right? I've seen little children, as young as preschool, kindergarten, trading pins on the boards. I've seen very elderly people
hmm
trading pins on the board. So it's cross generational. I'm in my 40s. I'm trading pins on the boards. Libby is almost 12 years old. She's trading pins on the boards. And you get a keen eye. Now, I still kind of monitor a little bit what Libby trades and what she doesn't.
yeah,
Um, that way that she doesn't get taken, that she doesn't get taken advantage of,
yeah.
or that she's done the right thing in making a correct trade. I will say this. Say you did buy pins off of Amazon or whatever, okay? People do it. And people buy pins off of eBay that aren't authentic Disney pins. They'll buy a lot of pins that are, you know, 20 or 30 or 40 pins in a lot, and they all come like in little Ziploc bags and stuff like that. We've seen people do it, and they'll have like this Walmart sack full of pins, and they're carrying them around in the park. Those scrappers actually can still be traded on
hmm
the boards in the parks, but I discourage that. I tend to only trade authentic Disney pins, but there are some what I call the scrappers or copycat pins,
hmm
and those pins, um, what what I do is sometimes there's a copycat pin or a scrapper pin that I like, and I want to trade, and so I have a assortment of 5 or 10 scrapper pins that I will trade for another scrapper pin because some of them are actually some of these reproductions are actually pretty good,
Yeah,
and
and cool.
they're cool, and so um, there's also a third genre of Disney pins, and they're called fantasy pins. Fantasy pins aren't produced by Disney at all. They don't have any Disney logo. These are what I would call fan pins, pins produced by Disney fans. And on those pins, those are not tradable on the boards at the parks, but sometimes people at the parks will still trade with you on those pins, and it might just be a special character that you like or whatever. I have a Oogie Boogie um, fantasy pin. The lady told me, "Hey, you're trading. This is a fantasy pin. That's fine. I'll trade sometimes for one that I really like." Okay, so there are pins that you can buy outside of the parks. Livy, where would you go uh, to go buy a pin outside of the park? Say you're not at Disney and you're at home here in Indiana. Where would you go to buy a pin?
It depends where you are, but here in Indiana, I would buy it from Box Lunch at the mall, and what is it called?
Hot Topic,
Yeah, Hot Topic.
right? Hot Topic and Box Lunch sell authentic Disney licensed pins in their stores, and you can buy those there. And they have all various blind boxes and stuff. There are produced by a company called Loungefly.
Yeah.
Loungefly, of course, is popular for their backpacks, but now they're getting popular for their pins. And there's some fantastic Disney pins, and those are tradable on the boards at the parks. Um, Hot Topic sells those as well, and then and then Disney just sells some exclusive blind boxes and things like
Yeah.
that to those types of stores. And I think that that's really cool because I can pin trade at home. And guess what, folks? The pin trading is alive at home. You can pin trade on the boards at Box Lunch. Box Lunch has a board of authentic Disney pins, and they will check your pin and see if it's authentic or not, and they'll make a trade with you. So that's some Box Lunch does it, some Box Lunch doesn't do it. So you gotta it varies from store to store. I think it's the manager or regional manager's discretion. But you can trade pins even at home, which is I think is really cool. So another thing, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who is just starting pin trading and they don't really know what to do? You said the first step was to buy a Disney pin, pack or lanyard.
Mm-hmm.
Number two was to buy maybe a pin book or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
to hold them.
What and number three, what would you say is maybe the third thing?
I'm not for sure, but I would say like mm, I'm not for sure actually.
Okay. Well, what I was kind of going for was that it's just fun to trade,
Oh
and
yeah.
that you should just start trading, and the third step is to just begin trading, and carrying those pins around the parks and things like that, and seeing who will trade with you, and going from there, pin board to pin board throughout the parks. Every Disney park has a pin board and has several pin boards scattered throughout the parks that you can trade on. And I think that that's super cool. And it's a fun way to kind of burn time or to have fun with your kids at the park. Um, I will say, one last thing about Disney pin trading, and that is there are even pin games. And I was kind of mentioning a pin game earlier called Pingo. And it's like a bingo card, and it's got, various Disney pins, and you go and, generally people trade scrappers or copycat pins when they're doing pin bingo. And what they're doing is they're trying to collect and fill up the card. And these are generally people who spend a lot of time at Disney, locals and things like that get into these games. Um, Tell me, is there like, Livy, tell me if there special locations where people of like-mindedness can gather in the park and trade pins? Is there a place at every park that you can do that?
So there isn't really like a place to do it, but
No designated place?
oh yeah, there isn't like a designated place, and I was saying like they need to make one because it's like a big thing. But sometimes if there's like a benches or something or like a place to settle down, a big room or something where it's empty, people just go in there and set out their pins and have a giant pin trading group.
Yeah, so ping trading groups pop up all of the time. And what's really cool about that is you're trading with people who sometimes are professionals, sometimes are just
Mhm.
vacationers like you. And, some good hot spots, I would say. There's no designated place, but there are some hot spots in the park. So I'll mention a few of those. One is under the breezeway at Epcot between Connections and Creations.
Yes.
That breezeway is full of pin traders every day of the week. The Indiana Jones benches at Hollywood Studios,
Mhm.
that's a good place to go to seek out people who are trading pins. There's also at Animal Kingdom in front of the Island Mercantile. There's some benches that people kind of set up their pins. And then at Magic Kingdom, generally by the trading post, which is the pin store in Magic
Yes.
Kingdom, people are setting up and trading pins right outside that store, kind of in the surrounding area. So those are some kind of hot spots.
Yes.
So Livy, tell people what a pin drop is. Like, like like we went on 626 day.
Oh, okay.
And tell people what a pin drop
A
is.
pin drop is where they have like an exclusive set and they drop it and everyone goes like crazy and it forms a giant line.
Right.
Yeah.
So me and Livy experienced a pin drop for 626 day last time, and there were several pins within that they were rolling out that day. We didn't get the one we wanted the most, but we got the second one, and that was this one here, the mini jumbo pin. And so we got that one. We didn't get the 626 pin. We were kind of sad. But we also did get some other pins. And
Nice ones.
and we also got some blind box pins. So there's a variety of different pin drops. There's every Tuesday they have Pin Drop Tuesday.
Yeah.
And people go to great lengths and stand in line for a long time to go and get limited edition pins and things like that. So that's another way for you to get some really good, nice, authentic Disney pins, and that will end up being valuable one day. Um, let's see. But anyway, like I said, there's pin events all over the country. And the D23 event is getting ready to come up. And so there'll be some special pin drops there. I remember a few years ago, I started collecting a pin drop that started at D23, and that was a Disney action figure pin set. And it was 18 pins. And it took me about a year, uh, finally was able to collect all of those pins. So I had to trade with people, I had to buy a few things like that. But I was able to get 99% of them, and I got all of them. But it was mainly through trading with people. So, um, the pin craze is in full force. Last year, 2025 was 25 years of Disney pin trading, and they've really continued a lot of those kind of things throughout this year, and they're just going to continue more and more every year to just roll out pins every day, every week, every month, all year long. And so, anyway, with that said, we just kind of wanted to give you a quick snapshot, a deep dive into what Disney pin trading was, without to getting into the crazy details, because there are even deeper details that you can get into once you get into the hobby. As for me and Livy, we've got hundreds of pins. We're thick into the hobby, and we love it. And so that's why I really wanted to bring Livy on tonight, because she is really great at collecting pins and finding pins that are very unique and very odd. She has a set that she's working on right now that's called a Haunted Mansion set. It kind of looks like a pie. She's got like 3 more pins to go on that. So she helps to continue to trade and get that collection complete, the next time that she goes to the parks. So anyway, we're actively trading. I've got friends that calling me to say, hey, when you're in the park, can you pick up this pin or that pin or whatever? We do those kinds of things too. So anyway, sorry that Chris couldn't be here tonight, but Libby's, man, she's a better replacement than Chris, I think. Definitely a lot prettier, right, than Chris. But anyway, We just wanted to give you a snapshot of what Disney pin trading is, what this pin fever is all about that has swept the world. And we are glad that you joined us tonight. Like I say every week, like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. That's the only way we make this crazy thing that we got going on called the Disco Yeti Unplugged growing. And that's the only way that we can thrive in this podcast. So anyway, we want you to listen. We want you to subscribe. We want you to make comments. We want to get this community really going and really growing. So anyway, I'm Brandon. That's Livy. We're Disco Yeti Unplugged. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.